end of the meeting, we will have, we have time for questions. We will take those at the end of the meeting. This time I'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Grimes.
Good afternoon. First, I want to apologize for the road construction out front, the delays for folks getting here. We have talked to the contractor to help alleviate that situation. And so hopefully everybody can make their way to the meeting if they so choose. Tonight, you're going to hear presentations from myself, Chief West, Chief Lenore, and Michelle from the court. I was trying to give you a really cool title. The Chief Adjudicator. The general fund, as noted, is welcome. The general fund does have a small fund balance in it. Deficit. We have made some changes as of 3 o'clock this afternoon through the fire department, and so we do have some discussions that we need to have in terms of the general fund and how to raise the revenues or cut the expenses to get that to zero out. You will hear from the development department, the subsequent departments at the next tax hearing, or excuse me, workshop. You'll hear from Bernie and Raymond specifically on development, public works, water, wastewater, and myself or Alicia and the admin. So, without further ado and wasting much time, which chief wants to go first? Actually, Michelle, put you up first.
Mayor, council, good evening. I don't really have a presentation. Mine's really not changing from last year at all. The only thing that I'm looking forward to is trying to get our new software in. I know that's in the process. You guys have any questions?
She's forward, which is tab.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I am the court administrator.
The revenues.
Which one are you talking about? The non-parking?
You just have total revenue.
Okay, so what happened is on the non-parking, which is any fine, state gets part of that, the city gets part of that. If they decide to do a deferred to get it off their record, it turns into an expense. So it's just the way that it's so last year it was 200 in the non-parking and it was 25 in the court administration. So the people are doing more deferred, more offensive driving to keep it off their record. So it moved some of that down. It is down by about 50,000 total revenue. Citations are down.
We have safer drivers.
What is that?
You have plenty of staff.
One of the big things with the software is that the way that I understand it, when they talked about it to us over the phone and the stuff that we've gone through, they said that it was basically like adding another person of all the stuff that it does for us, as far as help us with case flow management.
Efficient.
Well, I think it will. I think it'll help with getting,
The software that Bill refers to is switching over. You're on Cardinal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Switching over from Cardinal to everyone is on Tyler. Yes, Tyler Technologies. And so we're looking at doing water billing, utility billing, accounting, or everything into one software suite.
Do we have a target date for that? Do we have a target date for that? Any other questions?
Sorry.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Chief Lenore.
So is what in the net is in our notebook the current newest fire, or is there? Okay.
Is this the updated?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the update as of 4/15.
That's why I asked.
Yes. So what I've got on the board is the itemized STW budget for the fire department for the 2020 budget. Relatively just explaining it. Initially, I'd asked for 6 personnel. We went down to 3 personnel. Now we're down to literally just the flat budget of this year with some increases in some small sections. That's not asking for any firefighters. If you want to go over all of these, we can. But we've got everything line item. I apologize for the size. I can get to the briefing. I can read these for you if you'd like. Basic operating supplies increased. Down below, I put the last year's cost and then this year's cost. It went up roughly about $2,000. With the addition of the larger fire station portion of the public safety building, the need for supplies increased due to more square footage to maintain. It's more pine saw, more glass cleaner, toilet paper items, paper towels, coffee that we use day to day. Radio batteries, they're past their warranty period, and they do go bad, so they've got to be replaced. Trying to keep the battery stock up so we don't have missing batteries. The emergency management cost remains the same for the hazard mitigation plan and emergency management training classes for Jared and I to go to. The cost went from $10,632 up to $12,427. Minor equipment, office supplies. We have a Kyocera multifunctional copier, printer, scanner, faxer. Some of the presentations that I've done has increased my budget, so I'm asking for a $182 increase. So I went from $1,718 this year to asking $1,900. The next big one was a big jump, was motor vehicle repair and maintenance increase. This went from current of $56,370. I'm asking $77.60.65. The increase is with the addition of the ladder truck. We're going to have annual pump test, motor vehicle fluid changes, everything that's not covered under warranty. We initially had a larger increase with 2 squads. We removed the squads from the enterprise contract for this year just due to the severe budget request that it was. We also are in line for a new brush truck from the Texas Forestry Service. That's a 90-10. Forestry Service covers the 90. We've got to take care of the 10. So I'm asking for the 11,125 to cover the 10% and tax title license. And then the Forestry Service covers the other portion of it. With that being said, this is just purchasing the chassis. This isn't taking care of the pump and the tank and the bed for us to stand and fight fire on. So that's an additional $22,649. So that's the reason for the increase on the motor vehicle budget. Physical gym membership, Fit for Life changed names. They're now Synergy Fitness. Cost of that went up for us And so this is just a adjustment on that for 13 firefighters. That's 9 of the paid staff and the rest part-time that we're covering.
Mike, do you have room in the new building for him?
We originally put that in and it got cut. Medical supplies, we went up 1,000. After teaching some AED classes, we realized that our antiquated AED bit the dust. So Kevin's asked for some new replacement of some of the AED supplies for us to do our CPR classes that we've been teaching for quite a few years now. So that's the increase for that. Certification pay increase. I've got some firefighters that have gone from intermediate firefighter up to advanced firefighter. And so that's the reason for the increase on there from 22,500 to 24,550. Contractual services. So that went from 45,000 this year up to 52,157. This expenditure covers our Hughley Fitness Assessment Center for our Fit for Duty. Our waterway contract took a very substantial increase because of the ladder truck. We've got more ladders to test, more hose to test, more appliances to test, the nozzles and the monitors that we have to use. So all of that has to be tested. Currently, we were at 3,200 for that contract. It's got increased to 8,500. So that made a large increase on that contractual services. Our ESO software, our record management system, was paid for by the county. And so some of the extras that we have for our EPCR, which is our patient care form that we have that's electronic, our inspections module that we have for our iPad so we can do our building inspections, all those are parts that we have to pay for that's not covered by the county. We've got the annual PMs for all of the extrication equipment. That increased due to the addition of the ladder truck jaws that we have added. The city buildings, we have the fire extinguishers, and which also covers all of the fire extinguishers on the fire apparatus in the public safety building. PS Tracks is our vehicle and equipment inventory system. We just went to that this year. It takes care of our record management system for our vehicles and our equipment. The waterway contract, we covered that one. Renew Biomed is just a repeat from this year's budget. Parker County Fire Alarm Dispatch increased. We went from there we go. We went from 22,911 to 24,911 for this year's request. We've also got the enterprise contract for Squad 35, which is included in that contractual service. Equipment tech services. This is all of our equipment needs. We went from 18,566 up to 19,140. That's replacing Tough Books for emergency management to use during our large-scale events, as well as all of our large city functions that we're doing. And we're also Engine 35. We're asking for 3 workstations to replace our desktop towers that have we've had to replace a few of them already, and so we'd like to finish them out and get all new ones for the new public safety building. That also includes the price of monitors. That price also includes Microsoft Office, the CrewSense scheduling. That's for part of our dispatching system. It'll show which crew is on A, B, and C shift and the assignments and everything. First arriving digital dashboard pulls up where our call for service is, and so we can see it on the big screen as we're exiting the station. Replacement antennas for the apparatus due to tree limbs too low. We've hit a couple currently right now and been a couple antennas, so we're having to replace those antennas, and with the new radio system that we purchased, those aren't very cheap because they're multi-band. And then we're also asking for some replacement radio mics, 2 of them in case we have damage due to whatever operation goes on. The overtime increase, we're creeping pretty close on our 45,000 mark. So I've asked for 55,000. This also covers our training and our shift coverage. This is also used to cover the staff for sick and vacation time. So we're having to pay quite a bit. Majority of these guys are here at the job 2/3 of their life now. So just having to cover shifts. Training and traveling, we increased from 21,419 up to 25,415. This is largely due to the upcoming ladder truck. We're going to need a lot of training on it. And so this is trips to Tarrant County College and utilizing their field, which has a cost of $600 for 4 hours. And so we've got quite a few trainings that we've got scheduled, so we're comfortable with the operation. This also includes our state certification for driver operator aerial and a ropes 2 technician. Uniforms and supplies, primary increase is the cost of inflation. Some of our uniform pricing has gone up. So that's increased $2,947 from the $9,946 that we have currently right now. So grand total is $12,893. PPE and supplies, last year was quite hefty. We replaced a lot of bunker gear. This year, we're just replacing 3 sets. And so that has dropped from $57,525 and change down to $35,186. We've also asked for 2 additional NFPA structure fire hoods. That is it. Anybody have any questions?
Hey, forgive me if I missed this, but said you didn't include the 3 new men or
No, the new firefighters are not included in this budget.
why aren't we including that in this budget?
Because the delta was going to be, we added 3 firemen, delta was 200,000. So when we started to work at two this year, 1 next year, the delta dropped, but it was still going to be, the delta on the general fund was going to be about 162. So when,
You're saying 2 firemen is 166.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the cost.
Yeah, you would have been over budget in your general fund by 162,000. That includes a $375,000 proposed transfer from water.
What is the cost? I know you're subtracting the delta. What's the cost of tuning?
Equipment, taxes, everything else probably. Salary is going to be $90,000. Pennies is going to be another 15. You're about 105, and you need bunker gear and equipment about 20. You're about 135.
Okay. Everything that I've learned, it's not going to do us any good to have that truck. I don't.
Well, it's still been the same with the pumper that we have currently now. The National Fire Protection Association 1710 says a pumper or a ladder truck we're still supposed to have at least a minimum of 4 persons. So we've maintained 2 for a while.
So in order to get this 162K shortfall budget, what kind of tax increase would that be?
You could do a number of things. First of all, the number you have in here, we could bump up sales tax by another 50. We have, I was just looking at the revenues, I've got 1.15 in there. I think we went up to 1.2. I think that's a comfortable number. I mean, you're close,
It
right?
could be. I mean, yeah, that's obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you're, yeah. If Holt comes online, for example, that's 100,000 in sales tax. So
We don't want to lean into the wind for
that's where we're
personnel,
at.
but just,
That's where we're at. It's a conversation that I've had with Mike, conversation I've had with another council member, is sustainability for next year, the year after
Yeah.
that, the year after that. We don't want to do anything that's unsustainable.
oh yeah.
And so you could go up to the rollback rate. You would generate roughly an extra $150,000. But you already have 50,000. When I did your number, I just hit it at 3.5%. So if you went up to the rollback rate, that's an extra 50. If you put another 50,000 in sales tax, now you're at 100. That's about as high as I would. That's probably the outer edge of my comfortability for revenue. I think we'll meet it. I just take budget into account.
And I think it's something we can address end of the year, first of the year. The opportunity is right. We don't have to wait till next budget. Correct?
Yes, if we can get some things online, start realizing revenues, Starbucks is going to be a big one for us as well. That's probably 50 to 60,000 in sales tax per year out of that one business. Holt typically will be 100 to 120. They're not here yet. The hotel that we approved a year ago, we don't even have a groundbreaking. Rice Pools development, $40 million with commercial and everything else. That was, y'all approved that before you hired me, and that's still not realized yet. So there's a lot of things in the hopper that are coming. Kyle's development being another one, 100 plus houses. Those are things that are, we see them coming. We know they're going to be here, but we don't realize the revenue. And so, to use your expression, leaning into the wind on this, I think you're a year out to where I'm comfortable with being sustainable for staffing level. We did true up some expenses in the general fund to try to accommodate this specific need. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to cut and raise to get these additional firemen.
So the problem I have is, you take Mike and Jerry's. So, first and foremost, you have to be competitive. Not competitive. Knowing Mike and his crew overworked, understaffed, paying quite a bit overtime. I understand the issue. We also, the risk goes up. They could go elsewhere.
I concur with that.
And we're trying to take care of some.
I know. It's
It-
timing.
It's the square peg in the round hole.
Right.
I think this is a good time to know something that we probably already are acutely aware of. There's only 2 cities in Parker County that has a full-time fire department and a full-time police department. Weatherford and Willow Park. And so we certainly do not have the revenues of Weatherford to meet that need. And so your public safety budget's just police and fire, and I don't want to throw water on Harry and Mike, but those represent easily 70% of your general fund. And if you increase these numbers even more, that number is going to go up. Without looking at what a final number is, I'm pretty sure you're going to come in close to 80% of your general fund going to go towards public safety, fire. That does not leave a lot for the other things,
Right.
Yeah.
roads, parks, and some of the other things.
Will you work those numbers up for us for the next workshop, or is that,
Yeah, I can
Okay.
work them up for you.
put it on a graph for us where it shows the 80%? Because I have yet to hear
Yeah.
from one person who says, I don't want to pay my fire department.
Yep.
I don't want to pay PD. I've yet to hear one person tell me that they do not support.
I agree. They no, if you wanted to, you can cut street repair out, and there's 100,000 right there. You can take the dump truck away from Public Works. That's 85,000 right there.
That's only for 1 year.
That gets you for 1 year.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, just roughly speaking. We'll get into some of the stuff here later. So your PD budget is, and Carrie may have played with this a little bit, but your PD budget is going to run you just about 1.37. Your fire department budget is going to run you about 1.12. So you're looking at,
That's 1.12 without more
yeah, but that's just
personnel. That's the way it is
Yeah.
right now, straightforward.
when he came to me initially with 6 additional firemen, his budget went up 47%. That
So-
was
And let me ask that question now since we're on fire, because now you're looking like you're up about 6.3 from last year,
Yeah.
which that increase you said is in a large part due to the ladder truck. Just simple things that no new guys next year, you wouldn't see that level of increase just on these line items that we're looking at. You're thinking that 6.3% that you had to increase has a lot to do with the ladder truck. Is that how I understood what you're saying? And just training goes up, and some of those general,
Exactly.
some of those
That's-
things.
Yes, ma'am.
So, but some of that extra increase has to do with the ladder truck. But we probably won't see that increase go down below 5% next year. We can expect most fire department expenses to continually go up each
Yes.
year without adding staff.
yes.
And so adding staff is always going to be a big
That's all.
jump.
You will always have that hurdle.
Yes,
I think Jake, and I hate picking on you because you happen to be here.
but you're here.
I think Jake, when we sat down 2 weeks ago with the department, with Terry and Mike specifically, and discussed their budget, they're scaling at this rate, and our tax revenues are going at this rate, and so our revenues are not keeping up with the expense of public safety. And it's not Willow Park; that's everywhere. Across the board, yes. Yeah. We are in competition with everybody across the board, and everybody's expenses are going up continually year over. Our revenues, while robust and they're doing well, they're not. No one's revenues are keeping up with their expenses. You're going to see some major changes probably in Fort Worth in the next 24 months. I think you'll see some changes in some of the other cities as SB2 comes online. Even though we're not part of SB2, I think you're going to start seeing some of those things happen. We had a discussion, going into last night about adding 2 and 1. And his delta, the delta in the general fund right now, and everything is related to fire. As we go through other phases of the budget, you're going to see that we've cut every other department except for fire and PD. And so every expense, every dollar of revenue that we bring in or every expense that gets cut goes straight to fire so we can figure out how to put the square peg in the round hole. We thought we had that solved about 4 hours ago. We did not. I'm telling you that you could get there. You could get there this year. I don't know how sustainable it would be going into next year. We've cut. When the other departments aren't going to have long to discuss because you cut everything. 2 departments that went up outside of police and fire, and their grand total was $4,500. So this is, I hate being the bringing out the good news first run, but this is the issue that we've been discussing for about 6 weeks.
But I think the chief knows we're going to do what we can do. And as soon as we can. When some of this stuff comes on, I think we'll be in much better shape Some of it could have been, should have been, but it's not. I promise you we'll do what we can.
Thanks, Council.
What does everybody think about, we just revisit this on a quarterly basis, to hold the staff as we are, but every quarter we come back and revisit revenue first. You know,
I like that idea.
what your workload is, see how that's working. Try to balance throughout the year as we go.
It definitely makes sense. I do want to clarify, because we're talking two, but two is we figured out a way to make the jump to 2 and not 3. We could potentially make that work with our shift, but we are at some point going to have to make the jump to 2,
You're going to have to.
not stepwise 1 and 2. That doesn't work the way the shift. So that's the big thing that we have to look at is we have to make a big jump and then a little jump after.
We've discussed 2, 2, and 2.
Right.
So he gets up to his 6
Right.
in year 3. We've discussed 2, 1, 2, 1. So he gets up to his 6 in year 4. I think as your values increase, I think as things come online, I feel more comfortable about it. If this was a one-time expenditure, I wouldn't worry near as much as I would. It would be tight, but I think you can make it work. When you discuss hiring, when you discuss staffing, as Mike and I and Carrie and I have talked, it's a legacy cost that you have to deal with. And you have to make sure that you can meet that burden year over year over year with a 3% increase, with the occasional 4% thrown in there if you need to be competitive in the marketplace. And so I don't know if we're there yet. This is not a desire by staff, certainly not by me, to say I don't want to hire firemen. And I don't.
Oh, yeah. Well,
But my job is the sustainability of it. And as I told Mike last week, I don't want to be up in the middle of the night trying to figure out how to pay a fireman.
before our next meeting, just to recap, you'll put together the numbers, what it would cost.
Yeah.
Just so, mainly so my
I can.
constituents can see that, because they're going to say, why haven't we?
We can run you a model. Now, in this
Yes.
budget, they are getting all the staff, all the fire department is getting a 5% pay raise in this one right now.
Good.
So we are taking care of who we have.
Yeah.
We're going to do some other things personnel wise with vacation and sick that I think address another growing need that we have out there. We can get into that a lot later. But we are going to try to take care of them and who we have in other ways. But I can run you a number of what 3 additional firemen will cost, because it's not the firemen, it's the bunker gear, it's all the other things that you got to do. It's not a clerical.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and just keep in mind, it's just not fire either.
It's-
Gary's running into
Yep.
the same issue.
Yep.
And over the next 3 or 4 years, we're going to be hiring fire and police.
And you are at they are a large portion of your general fund right now. And as that number gets bigger and the general fund revenues, specifically your tax revenues, as they're not, we're growing. You mentioned he's at 6%. I think you did the math already, right? You have a 3.5% increase in your budget this year ad valorem. That doesn't include what Terry's number is, about 12%, I think. So those revenues are growing faster. Your sales tax is growing faster than your property tax. And
We're
so
just not there.
You're just not there yet. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you. Chief West.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Congratulations on your daughter getting her master's.
Thank you. I wish she was watching. She is officially going to graduate in December.
Tell her we mentioned her.
I will. I'll let her go back and watch.
What's she getting her master's in?
Social work.
Maybe criminal justice, perhaps? We may be hiring in a few years.
In a few, yes. So I didn't go line by line in my presentation. I gave you, your first sheet that I gave you is our current organizational chart. And I wanted to kind of start with this so you'll see how the department is structured, but what this actually means as far as who these people are a little bit. So we have, with the addition of the sergeant last year, our new position last year, that gave us the capability to create 2 divisions so that we don't have one sergeant who does absolutely everything. And that has freed her up to do some more community stuff as well. But then the other sergeant is responsible for both shifts. We have 2 day shifts and 2 night shifts. They are on 12-hour shifts. We work very hard to try to maintain the staff of 2 per shift. We have been consistently running with 1 on days, 2 on nights, because we can't fill our position. We are still currently 2 positions unfilled. They are vacant positions. They are not anything new, but they are vacant positions. So we're working to fill those. We have purposely not re-advertised until the end of this budget year to see how things align. We originally asked for 1 new position in this coming year. We have since backed that out. But, sorry, I'm not used to this. So the first draft of our budget was almost $1.5 million, and that was with 1 new position. Includes the step plan that we discussed at the retreat, and it includes shift differential, and it includes increasing the amount of certification pay for all of the officers. We also asked for increasing minor office equipment. We have ID cards online where we have the capability to print our own ID cards instead of sourcing those out. Over time, that will reduce overall costs. We have copier leases. We have a shredder box that we share price-wise with City Hall, and we're needing to replace 2 desktop computers, and we need to add 2. We asked originally to increase our minor field equipment to accommodate additional body cameras, Stinger spikes, quartermaster software to track our assets and inventory, and then our regular replacement things, as things reach the end of their life cycle. We had also originally asked for increasing ammunition and weapons. The simunition conversion kits are kits that go on our existing weapons that would allow us to conduct active shooter type training. So those kits and those conversion kits for pistols and rifles, and then the simunition rounds, all of that's been taken out. And the 4 new Glocks are taken out. The 4 new tasers are gone. And we did keep an ammunition budget of about $3,500, which is an increase over the $800 and change that we had last year, which will give us a little bit more training. It just won't get us to that level. So after we did all of that and we did all of our reductions, we still in this budget have the step plan. We did leave the certification pay in there. Like I said, the line item for ammunition, we left at $3,500. The leased vehicles that we have through Enterprise was originally coming out of water, and so it's been reallocated to our line items. And so that $58,945 now comes into our line items. So our total reductions from our original requests are $122,960, and that's the difference between as the budget stands right now versus what we are asking for 1920. And adding in the vehicles from Enterprise, it's an overall about 14%. We have a couple of additional needs that aren't met. Our cell phone stipend, looks like we're going to see a deficit of $1,163. And then right now, as it stands with our current copier leases, our cards online, and the shredder box service that we share with City Hall, we're looking at about $4,200 there.
The STEP program, council was given an overview of that. Can you give just a brief overview on that and then of it?
So we currently have, basically we have been starting people at the same pay rate. So as the city gives us a cost of living, the starting pay goes up as well. So I have a guy that's been here a couple of years making the exact same thing as the guy that's been here almost 5 years. In addition, I have a corporal who works night shift. We back up. So in 2017, we added pay for corporals. Prior to that, there was no compensation for corporals, even though they were supervisors. So to get that started, we did 30 cents above their normal pay rate. So she is getting additional 30 cents on her pay rate. That still puts her below most of the folks that she's responsible to supervise. And so to make that equitable, starting from line level personnel and giving them stair steps, as it sort of, to spread that out and make room for those ranks in the middle, this was a good starting point. And I'll caution council, this is a starting point. I want to revisit this annually. And then secondly, council, I think I mentioned this at the retreat as well. Once we use this as a recruiting tool, while it's not a promise, but it is something council needs to understand has to be sustainable. So that's why we kind of started on the low end. We didn't increase the starting pay at all, other than factoring in a 3% adjustment there. And then the steps between each officer are 3%. And then the starting step for a corporal is 3% above highest paid officer, and so on for sergeant. And so it looks, it's comprehensive. It'll get the job done this year. Like I said, this is a starting point. This is just one box away from go.
You're saying that what you've been recruiting at and not filling, we're not seeing that base recruiting level that we're recruiting at. We're not increasing salary.
We're increasing it 3%, but when we say, okay, this is our starting level, but here's what we're
3%
anticipating
step up.
as of year 2, this is where you should be. Year 3, this
And that
is
will
where you
help
should
in
be.
recruiting if we've got that.
And that will help. We're still not going to be as competitive with our neighbors as we would like. Hudson Oaks, after they reach the end of probation, I believe they go to like 51. And this is significantly below 51,000. Weatherford's pretty close to that as well.
And that's the overall issue. We're having a hard time recruiting.
That's absolutely correct.
But we're
Yes.
barely making a dent in that with what you propose. Barely making it.
It is.
But it's a start.
It's a start. One of the other things that we did this budget year was increasing certification from 40, 60, and 80 per month to 50, 100, and 150. Not a huge increase, but it's better. Next year, I'm going to ask you for education pay for associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, and master's degrees. Another recruiting tool, and it also gets you better qualified candidates.
Something that a lot of people don't realize is that by investing in our current officers like this, it reduces our turnover, which in turn saves us money as an organization overall.
It costs us a lot of money.
We lose a lot of money when we lose officers, and I don't know what would incentivize me to stay here if I could go right down the road and make.
It costs a lot of money to just get somebody through the hiring process.
Yeah.
And by the time we purchase tests, we pay people to administer the test, and then we do comprehensive backgrounds. And then once they pass all of that, then we send them for a polygraph and psychological. Those aren't free. And then we can get them a start date, and then we can spend $1,000 on a bulletproof vest, bullet resistant vest, and then we can spend, $100 and change on one set of uniforms. So once you put public safety or police or fire in front of any piece of equipment, whatever it is, multiply it times 25%.
Will I don't want to get off base here, but will the event in October help with this, any of this?
The event in October, our wish list is comprised of some of the items that we cut. It's also comprised of some of the things that, like the ATV, that might have been helpful yesterday on a call we had. The ALPRs, for instance, one of them is affixed to a trailer that we put on that wish list. And my plan is initially put it up in front of our schools, because what that does is it takes the data, and then it can let us know if there are registered sex offenders who are circling the school and they're not supposed to be.
So it will help. It'll help.
It will help equipment wise, but it doesn't address our pay or.
No, I
personnel.
understand.
Yeah.
Right, I was going to say,
Equipment,
the
it will
stuff you
help.
cut is what
Yeah.
that could help us get the things that you cut from your budget. But
Absolutely.
Okay.
you can't cut any more.
No, and like the Glocks and the tasers, those were attached to new personnel that we originally were going to ask for, which at the retreat I told you was 4. So those were attached to that, but we also have to have stock of those things. You know, if something happens, a weapon malfunctions, or whatever reason we have to take a weapon off the street, we have to give that officer something else.
So, one question. License plate reader. How many do you have now? Or do you have any?
We don't have any. One for a vehicle runs just a tick under 16,000, I believe. And then I would have to look at the quotes that we got, but they're expensive. I mean, they're good tools. They can certainly help.
What is it? What was it?
License plate readers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great job, Carrie. Appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
Okay. Try to be somewhat brief, although spreadsheets. So, welcome to the fun part. Couple of things just to dovetail on what they're talking about, and that has consumed probably 9% of our discussions on budget. Has been those two departments, public safety. Retreat and Granbury, I think everybody can agree that we came out of there with, and if you look on my whiteboard, the first thing that we want to address is public safety. We've got a number of other things, but public safety staffing, I believe, was the first thing that I put on took out of there, and it's what I have on my whiteboard right now. I want, like heck, to provide them with what they need as of today. I don't think we can get there today. I think we can get there in 12 months or less. I think we can ease into this a little bit. But I don't think we're sustainable today. And I hope that's clear to you.
I can understand. I mean, you're talking a lot of unknowns. You know,
The original Delta was over $1 million when you throw in 6 firemen and 4 additional police officers, all the staffing. The original Delta was $1 million. So I didn't have sticker shock at that point. I had, like my daughter asking for Land Rover. You're getting a 2009 Jeep Chevy. So we had to figure out how to cut that down and whittle that down. At the end of the day, it's square pegs. It's just a math problem. And that's where we are. So I do appreciate, for the record, I do appreciate what Mike and Carrie have done. I think they probably have been disappointed in this process. If I was in their shoes, I'd be disappointed as well. I think that also tell you that we've been pretty much honest and upfront throughout the whole thing with you guys. And so I'm not giving up yet, but it's going to be a hard nut to crack to get the 2 firemen and knowing what Carrie's going to need 2021. To your point, you're absolutely right. We're going to have to figure out a way how to hire staff. And I hate harping on Hudson Oaks or Aledo. Patrick doesn't have a fire department. Patrick has an ESD. Aledo, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't have either. No, but
they don't have.
The city of Aledo.
They don't have. The city of Aledo doesn't have a full-time fire department. They don't have a full-time police department. We have a full-time, highly trained fire department, a full-time, highly trained police department, and that's a commitment that we've made. But there's also a cost to.
right, but the bottom line is, I mean, taxes, general fund, will not sustain
Bless you.
what we need to do. So we need to compensate that with sales tax. And the sales tax is not there yet.
Sales tax, yes. Sales tax is part of your general. So your general fund's comprised of M&O and sales
Right.
tax. Those are your 2 big ones. your sales tax is growing at a rate faster than your M&O taxes are,
Right.
and it'll continue to grow fast. And that's a good thing. I mean, that's the more sales tax you bring in, the less dependency you have on M&O.
But that's the buffer. What I'm saying,
Yeah.
that's what's got to rise in order to come.
Yes.
Because the M&O is not.
Yeah, that's correct. The M&O, so if you look at it just generally speaking, your M&O and your sales tax, they're going to bring in roughly 2.7-ish between those two funds. And then you got maybe another 750,000 in revenues from other sources, development, speeding tickets, franchise fees, all those things. If you look, we flatten those out. So we flatten those revenue streams out. Reason why is AT&T's. Is it AT&T or TXU? Which franchise tax?
They're both
Yeah. So your franchise fees, which is one of those harbingers, your development fees are great. They're one time. While we still think we're going to still continue to get them, you don't really want to bank on it, right? And so I try to do our staffing, at least for the public safety, through those two funds of interest in M&O and sales tax. And you're kind of at that point where I'm just not comfortable yet. But as to your point, if your sales tax goes up, I think you. So I'm going to talk to you about your tax rate. You just cut me off, Rose? Okay. All right. So this is the 2019 tax rate calculation worksheet that we get from Larry Hammonds at Parker County Appraisal. We get it every year. Front sheet is last year's numbers, and that's just for reference. Your second number is your certified value of $12 million. $8 million is what you got in the TERS this year. What you have in the TERS, that gives you a new certified value of $603,488,000. At the last council meeting, I remember you guys me talking about, hey, we got a new certified value and it's $612 million. It's really good, but I want to show you what happens.
You're saying that you subtracted the TERS to get to the 603. Those are tiny numbers.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. It's big to me, so and y'all don't have this in y'all's packets.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you why you don't have it in your packets at the council meeting, because we got some really good news about 3 o'clock today. Is that when I was on the phone with you? Okay.
603 is our value.
603 is your certified value, but you have to back out $105 million of what's called frozen value. You're over 65 home exemption. Doyle Moss. When you see this number, think of Doyle Moss and his 498 friends. Your homestead exemption freezes the value of the property at the time it comes into play. That's not like other cities like Aledo where it's a $10,000. So Aledo freezes or reduces, or I don't know what the correct term is, but it's not.
They just take a straight deduction.
Yep.
While we freeze the value at some date from the past.
Yep.
Okay.
You've had this in place since 2004. So you've had this in place for 15 years. And I want to show you in a second how this number really does a whack job. So you take that 603, back out the 105 million, 105, 439, 417. Back that out, that gets you to 498 million, 049, 047. I have that number in my head. Got it.
So what does that compare to?
That's
Hey,
the
you're-
numbers.
425 million.
Went up 40?
498, 425.
Yeah. 21,672 is your new value. The new value improvements. Meadow Place Estates. This is why we want Bryce Pool's development to come online. That's $40 million to come online. It's why, even though Kyle's development's in the PERS, we still get a little bit of money off of that. That's why we want development, because new value comes into play that gets everything free.
The new value, is that included in the 498?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
So when you gave us those
Yeah,
numbers, it
yep.
didn't include new value.
So your new value, back out new value, you get $476,376,087.
Wait, so it does include, you're backing it out.
No. You go 60.
Wait,
You go
right,
603 less 105 gets you 498.
Right.
Back out 21 million from that.
Uh-huh.
It gets you to 476. 370. Okay. This is important. Here's why. Math says the higher the value, the lower the rate. Well, Larry's going to calculate your effective rate based off 476. Taking out Doyle Moss. Doyle, did you pay taxes last year?
Yeah, I paid.
Okay. Do you think your 498 friends paid taxes last year?
Yeah, they paid.
Okay, good deal. Larry's not accounting. It's not Larry. It's Glenn Hager, the comptroller's office. Larry just has the software. They're not accounting for this 105 and this 476. Nor do they account for the value. But they calculate your effective rate off of that. The 105 million was in there. Number would be about 575. They'd only be backing out new. So, yes.
I just don't understand the new value because I get that we have something different with the exempted over 65 exemption. We have a different exemption there, but every city has new value. So why would they back that out of what is coming up?
That is a great question. I asked Larry that on point. He did not answer that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So, 476 to establish your effective rate. All right. They're saying we collected $1,626,212 last year. We did not collect $1.6 million last year. They are factoring in sales tax of $377,588. We have half. We get our 1% in the general fund, and then we get another 50%, 50 basis points for property tax reduction. What he does is he takes last year's numbers. We account for them differently in the budget. We just put it under sales tax. If it was a 4A or a 4B or a street fund, we had to take this amount.
You're saying that's last year's number as opposed to
Yeah, to get
what we now have third quarter data.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're using,
his sales tax always lags 12 months.
right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Better.
This gets really confusing if you're not a nerd like Jake.
Or a spreadsheet. Nerd.
Jake loves spreadsheets.
Sounding like Drew Carey's Whose Line Is It Anyway?
I know.
All the
he's
numbers
gonna
are made
calculate
up.
your effective rate, by the way. His effective rate has you at 34 cents. Principle is the values go up, your effective rate goes down. Our rate right now is at 30 cents. He's telling us our effective rate is at 34 cents. That is a mathematic impossibility. I'll explain how here in a second. This is your interest in sinking. This is the thing. This is the one where $498,049,047. That number includes your new value. It does not include your frozen.
Doyle, but-
Yeah. So it includes new value, but does not include your frozen tax levy or your frozen tax value. Our debt service for next year will be $1.5 million. That's a very simple formula. You divide this into this, and you get 0.30186. We're not going to adopt this. I'll tell you why here in a second.
You're going to give all those stats, right?
Whole thing. I know you can because you did the other day. So your sales tax that we talked about, that 377, it buys down your M&O rate. So you go from 34 cents down to 7.5 cents off that 34.
Maintain the same.
Exactly. So that's how he accounts for sales tax.
And that is unique to Willow Park because of, or is that true with everyone?
That's true with everyone who has sales tax reduction.
Okay.
What you were supposed to do, and it's not, you get your sales tax in, and then I'm supposed to move it over to the M&O tax value, really bump it down, bump it up a column. It's all sales tax to us, and he's using last year's number. The number we really care about is what did you actually collect in M&O tax. That's what you really care about, because that's what you're taxing them at. Correct? Everything else is kind of with it. All right. This data is not any good because he doesn't factor in the TERS in here. Here's what I want you to see. This is Doyle, 105,439,417. That's the taxable frozen value. That is not calculated into the M&O rate, nor is it calculated into the interest and sinking rate. So far through these calculations, Doyle and his 498 friends have not paid taxes. Or they're paying taxes, they just haven't accounted for us. Here's how Larry does this. He calculates what that number is. That number is $323,425. That is your frozen tax levy. When you hear levy, think actual cash. Okay? Hard-earned cash, right? Keep in mind, by the way, your general fund running around $3.5 million, right? Between interest and thinking, between M&O and interest and thinking, you're going to run about $3 million. 10%.
What was that
10%.
number?
This number right here,
Yeah, the 27.
323, 425, 90. That's your tax levy.
With
On-
seniors.
On frozen.
Yeah,
on
on
frozen.
Dole. Yeah.
Doyle's
So your
friends.
So your levy, what they're doing is you're going to collect this money. He's going to distribute this to your M&O and your interest. They don't account for that when they figure out the rate. So the rate is always going to be high. So I know how to do this, but I wanted Larry to put in an email in. 323,425 is the sum of the 486 over 65 properties that have their taxes frozen. It does not show up in the tax rate calculation. They don't know what the state doesn't really know what to do with it. They don't know how to manage it. And when I say Larry, I'm not blaming Parker County. Here's the next one. Lump sum of 323,425 will be distributed to M&O, and I is proportionate to the percentage each rate has to the whole. So if you had an even 50-50 split of interest and sinking and M&O, a 50-50 split, the number would be spread out 50-50. With 55-45, same thing. Everybody with me? I lost you, Mr. Mayor?
I'm good.
Okay. We just accounted for you paying your taxes. Right? So this is your end of year statement, September 30, 2017. This would have been the budget for October 1 of 16 through September 30 of 2017. That was West Texas. We had an adopted budget of M&O of 1328,013. Collected 1.1 million. You were off
137 actual dollars and 10% of the amount. My guess is that you used Larry's rate. I don't know what happened back there and back then, but I remember asking Jake about 2 or 3 months into I started here. I said, "Why are we not collecting all of our property taxes? What happened?" And in fact, were you on the email with Water Development Board? They asked that question. Yes. They asked, "Why are you not collecting your property tax?" So, well, there's a calculation error. But here's what you need to know: you were at 90% on M&O 2 years. That's not. That's solid reporting. That's solid number.
That's from 16-7.
Yes. This is what we did last year. This is the current year we're in right now, today. This time last year, what I did was I developed this spreadsheet. So what I took was all of Larry's formulas, plugged them into a spreadsheet. I took last year's value of $425 million. Taxable frozen was $293. So in 1 year, your taxable frozen value went up nearly $30,000, over $30,000. Okay. Guess what it's going to do next year?
What?
Again, guess what's going to do the year after that? Again. I'm pretty sure 15 years ago this number was so small it didn't really matter. But 15 years later, it's now very important. So what I've done is I've decided the fact that when we asked Larry, Bernie and I met with him last week, we asked him, "How are you accounting for this?" He said, "Well, we don't calculate it in the rate." And I said, "Okay, well, what is it?" He goes, "Well, it's gravy." It's gravy. Well, my response is, I want more chicken, less gravy. So I'm going to calculate, I'm going to factor this in to establish your rate up here. Have I lost anybody yet? Rose told me. So 3084 is your M&O, 2283 is your. We predicted that we'd bring in 1.45 million last year. Here's how I do this. I take this number, 3084 times 425, divided by 100. 1.3 million. You add in your frozen tax levy of 168 based off of proportion. You do a total levy, actual cash, 1.481 million. What I do, I take Larry collects 98.5% of what we do. So never collects 100%, no one ever does. So that gives my M&O levy of $1,451,300. We collected $1,447,055, or 99.70%. That number's actually off because as of this afternoon, we got another check in. So I'm only $630 off $1.4 million.
Of what we predicted last year.
Your numbers got us within $600.
Statistically, about 100%.
Yeah.
Who's
That's-
counting?
Tech man.
Tech math. Tech math.
There are people counting.
We're close enough to the end zone. It's good. Don't really make it. I'll put it this way. It's y'all have gimme putts on the golf course, right?
Depends on who you're playing with.
I was gonna say.
What does Leah give you a gimme putt?
No, Leah doesn't get anything.
So interest in sinking, same formula, 1.071. We brought in 1.0. We said 1.074. Brought in 071. 99.7. So the formula works. Right? By the way, 2283. Larry wanted us to adopt a 26 tax rate last year. This year he wants us to adopt a 30-cent tax rate. I want to get into the debt service fund right now. Your debt service fund should be around 0. If you're going to hit a specific number with a specific value, you're going to assess a specific rate, you will be at 0. Right? When this time last year, you had a $425,000 fund balance. My guess is that's a lot of gravy that got piled up. Had you adopted the 26
tax rate on interest and sinking last year, that number would have gone to roughly 100,000-ish, perhaps, at 150.
And that's money that we can't use. So that-
Nope.
Well, it's,
Right.
All of your interest and sinking is encumbered to debt.
Right.
That's it.
So that's just money sitting there, not drawing interest or anything else.
If you adopt a 30-cent tax rate, and I'll get to that here in a second, that number is going to go up another 160. You're going to be close to $700,000 to $800,000 in your debt service fund next year. Adopted last year's rate. That's an arbitrage issue. Jake will tell you, auditors hate that. Taxpayers will tell you, why the hell are you taxing me if you got all this money in the bank? So we're trying to avoid the arbitrage. This is Larry's numbers. This is that 34 back out to 6 cents. If you do that, you'll bring in an extra 172,000. Your M&O rate, he's got a 26 cents. Your levy's 1.3. He adds in sales tax. I didn't want to because I can already tell you that.
Wait, when you say, so you're not correcting the sales tax?
He'll what he's saying, he's going to add in sales tax. He'll add last year's sales tax in. And I didn't do that.
Okay.
I go straight off of what we brought in on tax.
Okay, that's what, okay.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
doing sales tax, you're just doing this.
So this is what your effective looks like now. Keep in mind, you're not going to get it zeroed out perfectly. Because every time you change one of these numbers, you change the calculation. As you add, that goes down, and so on. But for use tech math, use marine math, your total your M&O rate would be around 0.2769, and your interest and sinking rate would be around 0.2756. That would get you the same effective rate last year. The no new revenue rate is what they're calling it now. You would meet your interest and sinking burden of 1.5 million. That represents a 1 penny increase, 1.5 cent increase. Now, remember, we have money in the debt service fund. So I'm going to give you guys options on the tax rate. Giving you options on the tax rate. This is your 3.5% calculation at the request of the account. If you want to go up and bring in 3.5% more revenue, which would be about 1.5 change, you can, and then you want to buy down. Right now, you have 315,000 in debt service fund. You want to buy that down. So you can do a combination of buying down 154,000 off that 1.5. Increase your rate a couple. Still lowering the overall rate. You're increasing interest and lowering the image. You're also avoiding an arbitrage issue. Debt service fund. Okay. If you wanted to go up to 7.9, you're going to add another 60,000 to it. They get you an interest rate. M&O rate of 2.918. Sinking rate of 2.449. This is a little less than 7.9. Statistically, you'll keep the same tax rate you're at right now. You can keep the same tax rate that you're at right now, bring in roughly 7% more money. I didn't go all the way up to 7.9, but about 7% more money. Not have to raise the overall rate. This is what our friends in Aledo are doing. This is what Parker County's doing. They're all telling you that they're lowering the rate or keeping the rate the same. They're actually going
One thing that we have discussed. So what we're doing on the rates that you just presented is using our debt balance, debt fund balance, to buy down the rate,
Yes.
which we can't do forever if we're not contributing to that debt fund balance.
Yes.
So why is that a good idea to use past year's money to buy down this year's rate when we're not continuing to build that?
So what are we going to do when that rate gets to like a comfortable level of 8? What do we do at that point, right?
Or when our balance gets to zero, that year's budget, you won't have any money to buy down. So,
Yep.
so
What
what do you
you're
do
doing
next
is-
year when you're?
You're going
That's my
up on
question.
this,
Uh-huh.
$24.99, probably bringing around 1.5 next year, depending on what your value is.
Okay.
But if you plug it into the model of what expected growth is going to be, it'll bring in about 1.5 on your interest.
Okay.
The other thing is next year's debt service.
Uh-huh.
This year you're at 1.5. Next year it drops to 1.
Okay. So we automatically already have that drop in future years that we shouldn't need that.
Well, it's going to drop and it's going to
Right.
go up and it's going to go
Right.
down. It's-
Depending on what we issue for debt.
Yeah, it's different things. Because if you issue no new debt this year, you keep the same tax rate next year as you did this year,
Uh-huh.
you'll probably make 115, 120 debt service.
Okay.
It'll go back up.
My concern with that is interest expense. Get rid of any surplus. You don't need, because then you can gain it back elsewhere and get interest.
Yes, you want to keep a balance in there.
Right.
If you had a bad year,
A little bit.
8 to 10% is a good number for me to work off of, because like I said, Doyle and his 498 people don't pay taxes, then,
If you're talking 8-10%, you're talking $150,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Versus 300.
300, yeah.
But it would be irresponsible to use the tax any more than that. You can
Yeah.
pay down the debt.
I've got options for you if you want to do a rate calculation with no buy down. Your overall tax rate goes up 2 cents. If you want to do 7.9, it's going to go up a little bit more than that. Your M&O, and to your point, what we just talked about earlier, your M&O is not keeping up. If you did 7.9% on what you actually collected, that's where the state's moving to. You notice it's revenue cap. So if they're going to cap your revenue at a certain percentage, figuring out the rates pretty easy. Tell me which number to hit. So your revenues at 7.9 this year is about 116,000 off of what you got. So it's not. I hate saying this. 116,000 is not a lot of money. The big scheme of things, we just talked about hiring 3 firemen or 2 firemen costing for 105. So comparatively speaking, that's not a big. Now I pay taxes here too, so I'm not one to advocate for that, but I'm just telling you, you're not getting there with M&O. You're going to have to get there with sales tax.
Right, but it'll augment sales.
Yeah.
To bring in the firefighters.
So that's what I got. Now in your packet, I have an M&O number that's at 3.5%. So as long as you keep that revenue there, as long as you keep that number there, it's going to stay at 3.5%. You want to go up to the cap, it's going to increase it roughly 50 to 55,000. No, a little bit more, about 60 to 65,000. And that's where we need discretion and guidance from you.
Tax rate stays, if we go to the cap, tax rate stays the same as it is currently.
Yes.
We're just getting extra revenue from property.
Yeah. Eventually, we're going to have to solve the riddle that this frozen tax levy is, because it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger year over year. What they're not doing is they're not accounting for it when they're figuring out their effective. Now, I want to be clear for everybody here. You too. The ad that we're going to run in the paper, Larry's running in the paper, is going to have our proposed rate roll back. That includes his interest rate of 30, and that includes rollback. It does not include that levy. So he runs the ad. I'm not going to challenge his numbers. It's not really his fault. It's the software. But we will come up. The other thing is, just to be clear, whatever proposed rate we put in there, I cannot legally go above. I can come down, but I cannot go above. So I don't have any intention of actually going up to 58%. Yeah. But to give these guys flexibility, that's what
We're just covering.
like every good gunny should.
We kept the rate, we didn't change it. We did it like last year. Didn't change our rate.
You stay at
Would
point.
would we be able to provide for the PD, fire and PD?
That was
Yeah, you would. So you're going to add 60 to what you got right now. Yeah. So you got.
no, it's not 116. That 116 is a full 8%, and you've got 3.5 in there, so it's
Yeah. Yeah. No, what I'm saying is to the M&O number that you have in there, you would add another 60,000 to that.
we
number.
want another spreadsheet with all those tax rates. I'll tell you. For the next one, I'll show you.
I'll get you a spreadsheet. I'll email it to you guys. I'll get you all the numbers you want. Let me ask you a question. Is there a desire to do this? Are you dipping your toe in the water, or is this something y'all really want us to put a pencil to?
To see if we keep our rate the same, don't change the rate, if that would give us what we need with fire and PD?
Yes.
Yes, I would like to see that
Okay.
number.
Well, we also have to decide the INS. Like, do we agree that we
Yeah.
should buy down the INS rate?
Yeah.
Yes.
With debt. Debt.
Yeah.
We have a lot of decisions, but yeah, probably a little more paperwork.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
I just really want the
Meeting's adjourned at 6:52 PM. Will it convene at 7 PM?